Einen wunderschönen guten Abend und herzlich willkommen auf dem 42. Filmfest München. This is the 42nd edition of Munich International Film Festival and welcome to an early evening with Gillian Anderson. Dieser Nachmittag oder dieser Abend gehört ganz alleine ihr. Wir wollen Danke sagen, wir wollen den CineMerit verleihen. We want to give you the most precious award that we have for being a wonderful actor, for being an inspiration and for being just wonderful and making us happy. And it's your first time at FilmFest Munich, so we're so happy, Gillian. I'm very excited and a little bit nervous, to be honest. Mein Name ist Christina Wolf, ich bin Moderatorin beim Bayerischen Rundfunk, freue mich sehr, dass ich hier durch dieses Event führen darf. And I remember the time that Julia, the artistic director, she came over and we had a bottle of wine together and she was actually scarily in a good mood. I thought she was losing her mind. And she asked me, who do you think is going to come? And then she made me guess for an hour and was really annoying. And at some point she yelled at me, it's Gillian Anderson. And I had her promise that night that I can do this, and I have to do this because I owe this to my younger self, to my brother who's here tonight, and to all the wonderful people I met outside. And I'm sure you know what you mean to these people, but I talk to them, and you're such an inspiration, a role model, and an ally for queer folks out there, for nerd folks, and for all of us women. So thank you. Bei so einem Filmfestival hat man immer so Gespräche mit den ganzen anderen Filmbranchenmenschen und man unterhält sich oft super technisch und man redet dann so über pure cinema. When you have talks at a film festival, you meet all these people and they talk about pretentious stuff basically, about analyzing films. It's very intellectual. And something that I found really funny is every time I mentioned your name, none of that happened. I had all these serious people and they just told me I fucking love her so much. So thank you for making my festival so beautiful because I had all these lovely emotional talks because of you, Gillian. Wir fühlen uns unglaublich geehrt, dass sie heute hier ist, um diese schöne Preisstatue. This is our CineWave symbol and we're very thrilled that you will take this beautiful symbol with you home and we hope you will find a beautiful place for it. And we are also so happy that, of course, you bring a new film with you, The Salt Path, and I'm very thrilled that we can actually welcome the writer of the original book with us, Raynor is with us. Welcome. Welcome. And I mentioned I'm happy, I mentioned my brother is happy, and now I want to welcome two people on stage who are the happiest on this whole planet, in the whole galaxy and everywhere, that you made it to Munich. Please welcome our festival directing duo, our festival director and the artistic director, whom I happily drink with later, Christoph Kröner and Julia Weigel. Welcome.
Well, I would say we're at least as nervous as you are, Christina, so we're sharing the same emotions.
Yes.
We're thrilled.
How do you feel, Christoph? I know you were a tiny bit nervous before, then there was a traffic jam in Munich and Gillian made it, so how do you feel now? Are you relaxed?
You know when kneecaps make that strange sound of
Yes.
like clacking? This is what we feel like. We're highly emotional and happy, as you said. I cannot add more. It's just overwhelming. So yeah, here we are.
We could talk about for hours about all the things you did, Gillian. I'm sure you would love that. And if we just explain what you did in the last decades, or we just watch a little trailer and we hope that you like it, and I'm sure all of you will like it because we all love you, Gillian. So this is a short glimpse into what you've been doing for a lot of years. So please enjoy.
And wow, we thought we were the super fans here. Well, just a few words from our side. Dear ladies and gentlemen, what a great afternoon. We are now honoring a cultural icon here on this beautiful stage, an incredible artist who once said, "I don't have a tendency to conform. There is a part of me that kind of refuses." Yet we are more than thrilled. How glad we are. You conformed in that case, you confirmed, and you're here. You jumped on the plane and you are here among us. So thank you once more for traveling to Munich. Gillian Anderson. Just a few more words, Gillian.
We have a few
I'm
more
sorry.
words.
Yeah, this is turning into comedy for you.
We are almost done. We're also the comedy duo of FilmFest München. Born in the US, she moved with her family to London when she was only 2 years old. The reason for that? Her father studied film. But it was not until her teenage years that she caught the bug of acting. She mentions Meryl Streep falling in love with Robert Redford in Out of Africa as a key inspiration to give acting a try. But before that, she was a rebellious teenager, exploring different roles, amongst them scaring her parents, for example, and pushing boundaries. And when she was asked recently if it was a joyous act of rebellion, she gave the dry answer, "Well, I was an angry teenager." She continued, lots of attitude, nose piercings, shaved heads. "I was a punk. Life was centered around punk life. I felt misunderstood. People I hung out with were dubious."
Well, her determination in challenging rules, in challenging herself, led her to Chicago, where she studied acting, embraced theater, and knew already very early on that she would love to take on roles for screen as well. When she then moved to LA for auditions, it just took 1 year for her to turn into a cultural icon. And the way she thinks about getting the role of Dana Scully in the X-Files maybe defines her whole, her whole attitude to the craft. She constantly aims to play new facets and explore different characters, different from herself. As she so humorously put it, Scully's sensible. I don't know if I've ever been sensible before that in my life. It felt courageous.
And with that courage, she defined the most sensible and rational and thoughtful role of the 90s, a role everyone still adores. 9 seasons of chasing aliens, finding the rational approach to mystery. While not having a lot of time to take on other roles, she did another non-sensible thing. She took on her first dramatic leading role in the period piece, The House of Mirth, directed by Terence Davis. From there on, she only dove further into her exploration of more and more complex characters. An investigator in Belfast in the fall, Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, a legendary sex therapist in Sex Education. Her roles have been constantly thrilling and challenging, and they bestowed her many more new fans with every new cult series she shaped with her unique talent to make roles her very, very own. She brought humor, warmth, and her straightforward honesty to a new generation of viewers, proving her enduring relevance and range. The poise and spine she gifts her roles is something she has always made stand strong in real life too. We admire her for her social and political work that she has been pushing for years. Fighting for women's rights, being a constant role model to new generations of girls and boys, and raising awareness for the manifold difficulties and challenges of our times, whether it be social justice or animal rights. Thank you for all of this.
This truly is the perfect moment to honor her for her performances on all screens and stages. As the cinematic gem, the Salt presents yet another facet and energy of her versatility. A woman brought back to her existential needs, losing her house but finding a new path to life with her husband. Based on this life story by Raynor, she once more brings resilience to this story, yet in very different ways this time. You will see for yourself in a few minutes from now.
The story is based on a memoir and book written by Raynor. We are so glad to have you here as well, Raynor. Thanks for joining us. But Gillian Anderson herself is a writer, one more facet in her artistic life, and of course with a daring twist. She wrote science fiction novels and has recently compiled and published a collection of letters on female desire, want, a topic that she's been tackling as a sex therapist in sex education in such a uniquely brilliant and funny manner, turned into a book of real experiences. On screen, she did tackle the most complex characters, as we've said before. As Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, she transformed herself with remarkable nuance, bringing humanity to a figure both revered and controversial.
Well, she says, I want more challenges, a type of human I haven't played. We're looking forward very much to that, but please come on stage now. Gillian Anderson.
That's so beautiful. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's really beautiful. I might actually put it out. I am so overwhelmed. I wasn't expecting this at all. And I literally don't even know what to say. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. I feel unbelievably honored, and I feel like I've been in a little bit of a hole, because I'm a bit of a hermit, and I know it may not seem like that from the outside, but I really am. And so I don't, and so when these things happen, it feels like they're even more shocking because, I don't know, I feel like I've just been going on and putting one foot in front of the other and doing my thing. And sometimes I forget that people pay attention. And I think one of the reasons why, many of you haven't, or maybe all of you haven't seen this film before, but one of the things I think that people are really responding to is that, there is so much uncertainty right now. And Ray's extraordinary book about, we all have dreams and hopes and wishes and desires, and we think we know what our future looks like, or at least we think we know what we hope our future looks like, and it feels overwhelming sometimes, I think, for many people. And there is so much, it's beyond uncertainty. It's just everything, it's so untangible what's happening. And so the resilience and the perseverance and the humanity of these two human beings that actually exist and persevered through what many of us would imagine would be unthinkable, and is shocking and astounding and incredibly commendable. And I'm so pleased that that people are seeing that in this film, because it means that people are awake, I guess. You know, it means that people are paying attention and want to be moved and want to see examples of human beings and humanity and the best of us. And so, gosh. Thank you, Julia and Christoph, and thank you. I don't even... Christina, who's so gorgeous. And
You too.
And I'm incredibly moved and honored, and I hope you like the film, and thank you for being here, and you know, thank you for having my back, because I've got yours.
So, liebes Publikum, liebes Filmfest München Publikum, Gillian Anderson wird natürlich nach dem Film zurückkommen auf diese Bühne, und wir werden uns natürlich über genau den Film unterhalten, den Sie jetzt als deutsche Premiere hier im Deutschen Theater schauen können. Please enjoy The Salt Path. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, please welcome back our CineMerit Preisträgerin vom Filmfest München 2025. Please welcome back Gillian Anderson. Have a seat. Happy. Welcome back.
Thank
you.
you.
Came prepared. You have a hanky with it.
I do,
Right? Yes.
I do. And I was in my pajamas about 20 minutes ago.
So we're very, very happy and lucky that you're back. You're gorgeous too, I've been meaning to tell you. Tell us about the first time. Tell us about the first time when you met them, when you met Ray and Moth for the first time, the real people.
Jason and I had taken a train out to Cornwall with Marion Elliott, the director, yeah. And I think it was about a 4-hour train ride. And the thing I remember about the train ride the most is that we were talking to Marianne about the script, and I think Jason was giving notes, and we got to page 45 in those 4 hours. Sorry, that's, you know. That's Jason. He's yeah. But then we arrived in this beautiful, beautiful location, and Ray and Moth were there and welcomed us, and we spent the day, you know, not just talking, but putting up tents, taking down tents, looking at a lot of the items that they both had with them for the entire walk. The clothes that Ray wore for the entire walk. And it was quite extraordinary. It was, I think, pretty much everything that they had was laid out between two tabletops or something. It was really profound, and you know, talking, you know, just looking at the tents, them putting the tent up, showing us how they did it, what the tricks were to, you know, how they got better at it, and starting to map that out in terms of our agility with it, and Jason talking to Moth about the trajectory of his illness and how it manifested and how it got better and then worse, and, you know, really just starting to get into those conversations in, you know, in real time. And it was really, you know, it was really important and meaningful for us.
I mean, we all know that you've played real characters, but it's, of course, I mean, I guess, very different playing Margaret Thatcher and playing a real person you can meet and talk to, and playing a real couple. So how did the two of you become a convincing couple on the big screen?
I mean, that... Oh, it's so quiet. You know, part of acting, you know, is acting as if you have history with people, and whether that's with your, you know, your on-set children or your partner, and I've had a lot of experience, you know, showing up to work, and on the first day is, you know, the divorce scene, or, you know, the death scene, or the, you know, sex scene, or the, you know, there is, I've found that there's been, that you never know what to expect, and so you have to come prepared, and sometimes that it makes more sense than other times, like the coupling makes more sense, just physically, energetically, and with Jason, it made sense. It made sense on paper. It made sense on screen, and so I don't feel like we had to do all that much to make it feel like we had lived a life together. And because we don't, you know, when you're filming, you don't necessarily start in a linear way. You don't start at the beginning of a film. You might start on, you know, 3/4 of the way through your journey together, let alone, I mean, that journey together, let alone the journey of your life together. So you got to kind of work, as an actor, you got to work on that stuff in your own time, in your own space, and bring it.
Which characters do stay with you, and why? Or do characters stay with you?
Yeah. Some more than others. I feel I've said on many occasions that that Blanche has really stayed the most with me, and I don't quite know why that is. You know, she really got under my skin, and I think, you know, historically she's gotten under. That's in in Streetcar Named Desire, and she's I think she's, historically gotten under all, pretty much all of the actresses' skins who have played her. Because I'm pretty good at leaving characters behind, even in any given night, to go back to a hotel or whatever. And but there was just something about her.
How did they react when they saw the film for the first time, Raynor?
I don't know.
Why did you like it? Yeah, she used a lot of tissues, that's what she said.
It must be so strange. This must be so strange, right? Yeah.
How important is it for you to play a character in a story that matters? I mean, when we watch this film, of course, we start thinking about homelessness, we start thinking about what capitalism does to people and how different we treat people if they are successful, if they're rich, and if they're not. How important is that for you, that a film talks about more important stuff than, I don't know?
I think it started to be more and more important to me as I've gotten older, and also as I'm, on the one hand, producing things, on the other hand, realizing that, I can only do so many projects, and I'm wanting to make sure that they count, and I think when you do a project like this that has so much to say, that is that really moves an audience, and even potentially moves an audience to think differently, behave differently, be more compassionate, be more questioning about the state of the world, the state of our politics, the state of our governments, the state of our relationships, and our relationships to other human beings. It does, as an actor, at least for me, it makes me think differently about the things that I spend my time doing.
Is that the only thing that changed for you, how you approach acting and how you approach which characters you choose and which characters you don't want to play? Or what are the biggest developments in those some years that you've been doing this?
I mean, on the one hand, I think first and foremost, it's ultimately a reaction to the material and to a character as to whether I feel that they live inside me or could live inside me, and the quality of the writing and the people involved. But there have been plenty of projects that I have been offered or have come my way when I've thought, oh, I get this, I know how to do this, I'd love to work, that I think too that the older one gets, the more precious time is, and the more precious the people in one's life. Not that they start to become more precious, but you suddenly realize, I think, how meaningful connections are, and so that does affect. It does affect the choices that I make in terms of, is this particular project worth being away from the people that I love? Is this period of 3 to 6 months worth spending days of my life on if it doesn't have something to say?
Can you tell us a bit about the other things that you do? Do they come from the same place of creativity when we talk about producing, directing, and writing? Is that the same Gillian Anderson we all love as an actor?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've been more involved in more entrepreneurial things over the last couple of years, and that's a piece of my brain and myself that it has always been there, and I've used it more specifically in other areas of my life than acting. Acting feels it feels different. It feels I don't know. I'm just getting deep. I guess maybe because it's ultimately somebody else's. It's in service of somebody and something else that originates outside of me. And a lot of the things that I've been involved with over the last couple of years in terms of a company that I started and online community, and I have a drinks brand. I'm so embarrassed. I don't even know how to talk about it. But that's a different kind of creativity in building a brand that has meaning and stands for something. And so the mixture of that and working on my book Want, it feels like that's a different. It feels like it's really important, the words that are chosen, how it's in, what it means, what it has to say, who it supports, everything about how we present it and how it is perceived is all taken into consideration because it feels important for a lot of people, and so that's different than the creative act of being an actor saying somebody else's words. Sorry, it takes me a long time to figure these things out.
They don't seem bored. They seem fine. Would you have done the book without Jean Milburn from Sex Education?
I mean, I don't think I don't think it would have come my way. I don't think the idea that was had would not necessarily have been had in relation to me. And I think that it wouldn't have made sense to me had somebody come and said, "Do you want to do this book?" I would have said, "Fuck off!" Like, what? Yeah.
I want to ask you about. I mean, that was the first time I experienced something like this when we watched the trailer together and watched your roles, so many of your iconic roles that you've played, that there were people going like "woo" all the time, and that rarely happens. And just the affection that the fans have for these amazing roles that you've played. I mean, I know that Dana is such a long time ago, but it means so much to people. And you see, it works. Or Jean Milburn, for a younger audience. Now you have to do it again. Does the affection that people and fans have for these roles that you've played, does it change the way you look back on the characters that you've played?
Yeah, it does. I think particularly for Scully, because I don't think that it was such a whirlwind for me. And it was, at the time, it felt like too big of a responsibility to take ownership of at the time. And in retrospect, and also hearing firsthand from people the impact that she had on their lives, and also the impact on the STEM community. And Go STEM. And also, you know, on the gay and lesbian community, you know, she had a big impact on that. And so it's easier to celebrate something, I think, in retrospect, and the degree to which, and the demographic range that she has impacted and continues to impact still is real. It's a real thing. And there's something I've been championing. Well, there's a few things that I'm working on that feel like they have, there are aspects of Scully in a way, not in terms of character necessarily, but in terms of like her lineage is built within them. One's a film and one's a book, and they make sense because of her, or me doing them makes sense because of her. And so she continues to impact my life, and also and the charity work that I do, I think, yeah.
I would love to mention that The Soul Path will be in German cinemas in 2 weeks. So you can all tell your friends that they should watch this film, because it starts in the almost as big a movie theater as this one. A big thank you to DCM, an den Verleiher natürlich auch, dass wir den Film hier zeigen konnten. Danke für eure Unterstützung. And shall I make you cry again? No. I think it is time for all of you to show your love and admiration, and how much you appreciate her, and how much we are so thankful, Gillian, for you being here, talking to us, and accepting the CineMerit Award from FilmFest München. Thank you so much. Gillian Anderson.
Thank you.